Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. This is Krister doing the intro for this one because Dave is away on holiday with his family and is therefore not near his microphone in studio. So you got me this time. And this episode, we are looking at New Order's album Republic from 1993. And it's one that neither Dave or I were familiar with at all. We obviously knew New Order, but not this album. One thing I will say to bear in mind when you listen to this is towards the end, whenever we read out some of the tweets that we got, whenever we asked for any kind of responses to this album, you'll hear that quite a few of them are saying things like, it's not my favourite album, or this is the one where they left me behind a bit. Some of them, let's face it, a bit negative. What then happened is pretty much the very next day after recording the episode, we looked at our Twitter notifications and saw that none other than Peter Hook, the bassist of New Order, had seen all these messages and liked, in inverted commas, all of them as well to let us know that he'd read them. So that was a bit awkward. If you're listening, Hookie, forgive our listeners. It was us that asked for the responses, so maybe blame us, but please don't. But anyway, look, I'm just going to get into this one. I hope you enjoy it. It's another good fun one, I reckon. Hopefully next time normal service will be resumed and Dave will be doing the intro as you're used to. All right, see you later, guys.
Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. I am joined, as always, by my very good friend, Mr. Krister Greer.
Hello, everyone.
I just want to say thank you for everyone that got in touch with us on the last piece of pain.
Yes, indeed, our ongoing journey into misery, listening to Cliff Richard.
Cliff fucking Richard.
Yeah, mate.
Luckily, that is the only album he got number one with in the 90s.
The only one that wasn't a compilation. Now, there are other ones that we can ignore. We weren't allowed to ignore that because we're idiots and made the rules.
Basically, we don't have to listen to Cliff Richard.
No, never again. Never again. But I am very surprised that so many people... Well, actually, I'm not surprised that so many people enjoyed our pain in having to listen to it. So I'm glad that you got something out of it.
That was our hill, and many men have died halfway up it.
That still makes me laugh.
Yeah, still makes me laugh as well. So here we are in slightly more green territory. This week we are here to talk about New Order's album Republic.
Yeah, and it was number one for 1 week on the 9th of May 1993. So it was the week after... it was actually the week after R.E.M.
Yeah.
Because it was Cliff Richard, then R.E.M.'s Automatic for People went back to number one, then New Order, and then, funnily enough, R.E.M. went back to number one after New Order.
I mean, this R.E.M. album just goes on forever.
Ever and ever. But yes, so this is what we're doing this week, New Order for 1 week.
So New Order, obviously a bit of bigger than a cult band, but a real sensation. Obviously, they had the biggest number one 12-inch of all time.
Absolutely.
That's a bit of trivia that any music dickhead will ever
And they lost money on every copy they sold.
Yeah, indeed, because they had the nice packaging and blah, 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 blah. So... Obviously, by the time we get to the early 90s, New Order have kind of had a reputation for being on the edge of everything, really, the cutting edge of a lot of things. Obviously, signed to, very, very fashionable label, and fashionable is the wrong way to put it, but a very well regarded label.
Factory Records were very cool.
Absolutely,
they didn't necessarily have a lot of really good bands, but they had a reputation and. A lot of that was marketing, but they had that reputation. And so, fucking hell, Factory Records, my God.
If you are from outside of the UK or this is not your brand of music. I would recommend going and checking out the movie 24 Hour Party People.
Oh, good fun.
Which is a great movie biopic about the Factory Records era. Obviously, if you don't know, if New Order are the ashes of Joy Division.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. Absolutely. It's sort of 3/4 of Joy Division.
Yeah.
Once Ian Curtis killed himself in whatever it was, 80-81,
Yeah.
the band decided to go on but change their name and also their direction.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the 80s, like you said, they were a big deal.
Absolutely. And, I'll be honest with you, throughout the 80s, when I was very much pop infused, to the early 90s, New Order, I was aware of them, but they were a bit of a mystery to me. I don't think I mean, I've listened to New Order albums since. I've owned a couple of New Order albums.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I've never been the biggest New Order fan.
Fine.
So what was your relationship with New Order like?
New Order, I think I was too young to really remember Blue Monday coming out at the time. Obviously, later in the 80s, I remember it as, oh yeah, you hear that song and that's that beat and it's very recognisable instantly. But it wasn't till kind of True Faith, which was 1987, that I was like, oh, this is a great song. Yeah. And that was one of their biggest hits, the one with the video, really interesting, cool video. But I still wasn't really what I would call a fan at all. And so there was a couple of, True Faith and Bizarre Love Triangle as well. I had that on a mixtape that someone did for me in about 1990, but I didn't investigate backwards album-wise.
I mean, I'm going to say to you, like, probably the song that had the biggest impact on me was World in Motion.
Well, that's the other big one, isn't it? Yeah,
I liked that. But I would say, in general, New Order were not fun enough for me when I was into pop music.
Sure.
And probably weren't angry enough for me when I was at this time in my
stuff.
life.
Right, sure.
So it wasn't something that was particularly... So as we discovered in last week's episode, I'd heard the first single, Regret, but I couldn't really remember it.
Yep.
So going into this, I'm like, I've never heard this album all the way through. I know that.
No, same as. I remember Regret coming out because it was 93 and I was listening to anything that was slightly indie and I was trying to get my head around all of it. So I remember it happening, but I didn't hear this album at the time at all.
Sure.
Because I'd not been a fan previously. And in 93, I was probably listening to more guitar-y stuff, like the real American guitar-y stuff, or the very classic indie, where this is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and this is become a trope of something that we say on the podcast. But there was an embarrassment of riches around musically at that time. Yeah. So this is something that in a more fallow period, maybe I'd have found my way to listening to. But with the amount of stuff that was going on, there was more music than there was money that I could spend on not just originals but blank tapes to copy albums of other people.
For sure.
So let's start as we always do.
Right. Yep.
Let's have a look at the album cover.
Yes.
So this is put together by an artist whose name I didn't make
Peter Saville.
No, there we go, Peter Saville, no relation. And it's a juxtaposition of images. You've got two images that are representative. I mean, he's living in California at this point, isn't he? The first one is of a burning house, which is there to obviously either signify wildfires or possibly...
Or the LA riots.
Yeah, possibly rioting. Yeah. And then on the other side, you've got this kind of very, very happy... there's surfing by the sun. But the
happy couple.
Yeah, the images have been changed. There's an air of kind of sardonic menace to it. You've got the kind of the Republic logo with the very pronounced copyright.
Yeah, I mean it was officially called Republic and then the C symbol for copyright, but it's just known obviously as Republic.
And it's kind of formatted vaguely like a movie poster or something along those lines, or an advert.
I think it's quite poorly put together though, as amateur, because it's not a seamless blend between the two images, and you're like, oh, this is almost like it could be happening at the same time. It's literally, they've taken two distinct images and slightly blurred the middle of it, so it becomes that.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the rest of the album art, it's of a series of images that do the same kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at the single covers, there's a lot of that in there as well. So I feel like when you view the different images from it as a collection, it's more impactful.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, like, if you look at it,
that's the point of it.
Yeah, but when you're going, I'm a casual person on this. I'm just looking at the one album on the shelf. I don't think this is as a cover I don't think it's particularly successful.
No. It is a bit cringy, kind of make you think sort of a way as well.
It is a little bit like that. I mean, I guess it fits in with the tradition of stuff that I do quite like.
Mm-hmm.
These type of images, if you see them in a Paul Verhoeven movie, if you see them in RoboCop or in Starship Troopers, they make sense because they're presented with an understanding of a sardonic kind of sense of humour, which may well be intended and may well be present, but is not obvious.
No, I don't instantly think that, no.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't generally... The first place I don't go to for humour and music is not New Order.
No, absolutely not. I don't see them as a big fun-time band.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and this is their sixth studio album.
It is indeed.
It's the second one that went into number one after the previous album, 1989's Technique.
Yeah.
And so this is the second one. But after this one, they broke up for a long time, for 5 years, and they didn't release another album for 10 years. So this is kind of like the end of Act 1, I guess, for New Order. This is the last one they put out. It was nominated for the 1993 Mercury Prize, along such massive albums as Apache Indian and Sting and Dina Carroll.
Cool.
But it was beaten by Suede.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Got to number 11 in the States, which was their highest chart placing over there. So this is kind of, in some ways, this is them peaking commercially.
Yeah,
apart from the biggest selling 12-inch in the world.
And it's easy in this day and age to think 11 is almost damning with faint praise. But let's not underestimate the sheer volume of sales it takes to become a number 11 album in 1993 in America.
Absolutely. No, you're totally right. Background-wise, I got some of this from an email we had from one of our listeners, from Martin Young, who sent us his thoughts. And it was really interesting, actually, because there's some bits he cleared up, that this is an album that was kind of made under duress.
Yes.
This was made because both Factory Records and the Hacienda were in financial trouble.
Indeed.
And obviously, New Order were signed to Factory but they owned their own contracts or whatever. They owned their own music rather than Factory.
Well, that was kind of famously part of the Factory thing, wasn't it?
And so if Factory went under, something like that, they would be slightly fucked because they had underwritten a lot of debts.
Yeah,
I think because they owned their own stuff.
They had a lot of money tied up in both. Tied up in it,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the Hacienda was losing money, and they were co-owners of that with Tony Wilson, and so they were under pressure to make some money.
And let's remember why the Hacienda was losing money as well. Because the Hacienda was fucking full every night.
Every night.
And you would think, particularly from yourself as a publican,
there you go, great.
To be money hand over fist. But of course, no one was drinking.
Not a bit.
Because everyone was fucking beamed out of their minds.
Yes, indeed.
It was one of the centres of the summer of love and the revolution that followed.
So this is an album that they may not have made if they didn't have to or to feel pressured to. They might have waited a little bit longer and done something different, but they had to put something out. So this is what they did.
Because, Peter Hook and Bernard Sumner famously not always been the best of friends, and they fucking hated each other at this point.
Apparently so.
Yeah,
apparently they were really just not want to be in the same room kind of thing. And also the email that Martin sent us said that the battle between those two was partly that Bernard Sumner wanted to make another very dance-orientated album because Technique, the last one, had been very kind of Balearic and Ibiza-inspired, this sort of stuff. But Peter Hook wanted to go more down the rock and more guitar route. Yeah. And so they were butting heads on that. And what came out of it, as we will see, is Bernard Sumner kind of won the toss on that one.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, let's go. We mentioned it already. The first track is called Regret. It was also the lead single.
Indeed. Right, let's do this one. So yeah, this was the first single, and it came out in April of '93, so just previous to the album, and it got to number 4 in the singles charts in the UK, which was in fact the last time they would see a top 5 placing.
Sure. And look, interestingly, we just talk about that little button heads thing. This single starts off, you've got a riff, you've got a synth line, and you've got quite a post-punky little bass line running through here.
Oh yeah, you can actually hear Hookie's bass in this one,
Now, the thing, I think a defining factor, as is often the case, is how you feel about Bernard Sumner's vocal.
Definitely. It's a massive thing for New Order, I think, that I don't think he's a very good singer.
I think, this is what I think.
Yep.
I think he's got a reasonably limited palette.
Yep.
In terms of the kind of the tools in the shop, what he's playing with.
Sure.
And that does mean you pick up on a lot of the nuance of when he does something slightly different.
Okay.
And I think at its worst, there's a kind of a very sing-songy default that he goes to.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That I don't get on very well with. But then he'll do something that's not a million miles removed from that, and I'll feel quite differently about it.
I see. Yes.
Which, on first listen to this record, I didn't notice, but on multiple listens, I did.
Okay, that's interesting.
So for this one, this isn't breaking a lot of new ground vocally.
No.
I think this one is a pleasant enough tune. I quite like the chorus.
Okay, yeah.
I think the chorus is well phrased. That on the telephone.
Right. There's an absolute catchiness to that chorus. You can hear it in your head for a while after.
So I think this is a perfectly acceptable song that in no way sets my world on fire.
Right. Like the left-hand side of the album cover.
Exactly.
For me, this is the sort of thing that I probably could have been more into, because in '93 I was a fan of indie stuff.
Sure.
And so this is very jangly indie pop to start with. That guitar riff could have been a load of different bands from those early '90s. Mm-hmm. But there's something about the riff that I don't like. It's kind of cloying and sickly sweet to me.
It misses an edge, doesn't it?
There's
no jaggedness to it.
No, and it's the sort of thing that, exactly, it could be by, and I'm trying to think of some middle-of-the-road band that it could equally be by, but it doesn't scream to me, this is New Order. This is New Order who did True Faith. This is New Order who did Blue Monday. And so it sounds like it's them trying to be grown up or trying to cater to the mums and dads of Radio 2, that sort of shit. I think this is a very middle-of-the-road, bland tune.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the chorus has got a nice hook to it, and I can get enough out of that.
The chorus is definitely the best bit on here. Even the Peter Hook bass line is such a stereotype New Order bass line sound to it that you're like, okay, fine, that's no problems. But it doesn't do anything fun for me. I'm not like, oh, that is cool. In some ways, the other times you go, that's a fucking cool line. You've done nicely on that. And I don't even think this would make second or third tier New Order songs for me, and I don't know that many.
No.
And this is one of the ones I know better than a lot, because I did hear this at the time, and it's been played loads. You hear it on various... This is the sort of thing that would get played on an ad for a BBC One football show, because it's that sort of... everyone knows this. It's just part of the woodwork at some point. That riff, that riff. In the same way as you recognised it last week, but you couldn't have said, that's New Order Regret. You're like, oh yeah, this song.
Yeah, very much.
Wallpaper.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of bland wallpaper for me. And my issue with his vocals, I think, is he has a very weak voice. And I don't think there's any real personality to it. It's very much him. I recognise it as him. But I don't think he's got anything interesting about his voice.
Well, I also think that there's a certain quality to his voice that complements the best of what they do. The fact that it's got a particular tone, it's kind of almost like to call it atonal is unfair. But there's a flatness of delivery that kind of does
work sometimes. No,
does
you're
work
right.
really, really
that
well
is
with it
fair.
sometimes. And I do think there's, and as we go through this record, I do think there's nuances to it. And for me, one of the most interesting things going through this is what makes a good and what makes a bad song on this record. Because this is, on the whole, of a type, this record. And yet there are bits that I, without spoilers, there are bits that I respond to and there are bits that I do not. So, and I'd be lying to you if I said I got the answers to that. So
right, fine.
So I mean, obviously, that seems as that's what the whole point of the fucking podcast is.
We're on a loser already.
Dipshits. Right.
As well as his vocals, I've spoken to various New Order fans who have said things like, along the lines of, oh yeah, Burn Sumner, his lyrics are always either just a bit weird, which is fine because it works sometimes, or a bit cringy. And he's not a songwriter all the time. And in this one, I think, the opening line or the opening line of the chorus, I would like a place I could call my own, have a conversation on the telephone. It's like, oh, mate, you could have done better than that, surely. You know, that's proper rhyming dictionary. I need something to fill this meter. That'll have to do. But there are definitely there are worse ones on here. There are better ones on here. I think there's some examples where you go, oh, that works, and sometimes you go, seriously, mate, you put that on record. But no, this one I don't get it. And this was the big hit off the album. And this was the one Peter Hook is quoted as saying that he thinks this is the last good New Order song. Probably because you can hear him on it. That's a big deal to say this is a good New Order song. I think there's much better ones than this. This wouldn't be in my pantheon.
No, me either. Let's check out track number 2.
Right.
So this is called Worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, it's got a subtitle, but that's not on the Spotify.
No. It's bracketed.
The Price of Love.
Price of Love. That's it. Thank you.
So it's kind of. That's an odd sound,
isn't it?
This sounds like a Cunt and the Gang song.
Oh man, it really does as well.
Yeah.
This is a very early 90s kind of Ibiza pop rave.
I was making records. And this is very much that sing-songy vocal that turns me off. Okay, we've got these little housey keys, very, very.
Piano in here, yeah.
You know, and the house piano is very much played out in chart music at this time.
Oh, exactly. This is not the kind of beginning bits of whenever they started to do this in chart stuff. This is 1993.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we've heard this an awful lot already.
Yeah, I mean, this for me, all the way through this, it's a bit insipid, it's a bit washed out.
Yeah.
It's not offending me on any real visceral level. It's pleasant enough.
Right.
But all of this point, it gets to a point.
Yeah.
About 2:30.
Yeah.
And there's a breakdown. I actually very much like the breakdown, and I like it the way it builds up. And once the vocals are out, I really like it. It's kind of got a bit of a deep house vibe. I like the beat and the way the drums sound.
Yeah.
But any of this stuff with the vocal in it, all of this stuff here.
Yeah.
It's
no good. And also
to
the
me.
bit where they had in the chorus where there's like the female backing vocals singing it back to him.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? I think that sounds like really horrible sort of chart dance stuff. And I don't know why New Order were doing that.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that seems to me to be going down the chart. It's coming in again here. That's the price of...
It sounds like Deacon Blue or something.
Mate, why are you doing that? I don't like the back end on this one. I don't like what they're doing with the style. Obviously, this is Bernard Sumner's influence, I'm guessing. Let's do a more dance tune, a more Balearic type thing that you might hear in a club. But this, to me, falls between club music and just dull MOR pop, because you're not going to hear this in a club.
No, this is neither fish nor fowl, really.
Yeah.
It's.
I think you're getting to your breakdown bit.
But I like this. I think this is successful.
Like, builds up a bit of tension.
Yeah. I mean, listen to that. I think this sounds pleasing. This is nice.
There's more going on there. It's a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I like this. I dance to this.
Right, okay.
But the rest of the song, it's like it feels like two different songs to me.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, I know you still got that. You got, but yeah, for me, nothing with the vocals in it. The chorus, the verses, that doesn't work. I really like this bit, but that's not enough.
Sure. I made a little note, and this might just have been me when I was making notes being a little bit sniffy. This sounds like something that E17 would have had on their album. I mean,
it's
not
not
pop.
It's
generic.
That is actually a very good. That's a very good call. I mean, it's not as bad as it would have been on an E17.
No, absolutely. But it's also not as much fun. They would have had something else. You gone, oh, that's very silly.
I would have been.
This is so po-faced.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very po-faced. There's no denying that. I don't know. I've got to say, I put a little bit of a hands up because I do genuinely.
There's a bit
like
of it in there. Fine.
So I'm not kind of just completely writing it off, but overall, it doesn't really. I can't imagine when I'd put it on
ever. No, and I also don't really know who it's for, because I'm assuming it's not for people who were into New Order in 1983. Because they're not going to be into this sort of stuff.
Well, they might be. They might have grown up at the same.
I suppose. Yeah. Have they grown up? Are they now living in a nice, comfy flat with 2 kids, and they like to remember when they were going out and getting shit-faced or off their face on pills, and so this is maybe a little bit of a comfortable throwback for them, but it's not anyway edgy in terms of what they were doing back then, and I don't understand why they would think that this was the way forward for them.
No, this is not. It's not a good song. Let's dally no further.
Fine,
with it.
Okay.
And I said fucking dally. What of it? Yeah. Right. Let's have a look at the next track. This is one called "Ruined in a Day."
And this was the second single that came out in July of '93 and got to number 22. Actually, we should say that the previous song was actually the third single as well.
Yeah. Okay, so this straight away. This is a lot more up my street. You've got low, moody, doomy.
Soul to Soul's Back to Life beat that they've sampled.
Yeah, okay.
It's a nice little drum loop it's a good one to steal for that.
And we've got these kind of synth chords coming in. Yeah, I mean, I don't really... I read through the lyrics a few times. I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. I mean, make some guesses, but...
Again, there's some proper clunkers in here. That you could be the lover of Jade forever on your own in the shade. Pardon?
I mean, I know a couple of Jades. Goody.
True. She's definitely in the shade.
Well... It's kind of nicely, low-key, darkly delivered, the way the vocal comes across.
Right.
You've got these quite nice synth strings that are cutting through it. It gives it a little bit more of a cinematic kind of broader scope.
Some personality.
Yeah, this feels like kind of dark, rainy back alleys to me.
I see. Okay.
I like this one significantly more than the first 2 tracks.
Right. Okay. I think this is pretty dull overall. I'm not into this. I think I like that they're doing something different. It's not just another just shit dance song. But to me, this is a real non-event of a song. It doesn't do anything for me really, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just does this, which is fine. It reminds me in some ways of a slowed down version of Just Another Day by John Cicada, which I think is a much better song than this. But there's no tune to this again.
I find the lilt of what's going on with the synth and the way that the beat is syncopating out with it, I find that quite pleasing.
Okay.
So I think I do like this one significantly more than you do.
I don't like this one really, but I am pleased that they are doing something different. Because I was surprised they picked this as a second single, as the follow-up single. Mm-hmm. But because I can't ever hear this getting played on radio or. And
again, I mean, let me be clear with what I'm saying here, right? I think this is a perfectly acceptable album track. I think this is a good album track.
Right.
It's not really a single.
I don't get it. I do not understand. What A&R man in an office went, well, this is going to be the good one to follow up. We'll definitely get some traction on this. But fucking hell, if I had to choose what was going to work and what wasn't, it would be a very different world, and nobody would like anything.
Well, and if they're going to be covered in spunk.
Well, yeah, that's what sells, mate.
Absolutely. Right, okay, well, nothing much more to add to that, really.
No, I don't. I guess I didn't say up front. Whenever I was going into this, not knowing New Order albums at all, and not knowing this, definitely not, I was really hoping that something would grab me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck, I've missed. This is what I'm missing. Because so many people are massive fans of the band. And people do talk about this one fondly. They don't talk about it as their best ever, but they talk about it fondly as a good album. I was thinking, right, I want something. What am I ever missed? And these first 3 songs have not done it for me yet.
No, and I certainly... Okay, what I would say is I've not had that at all. What I've had, though, is hints of, I'm putting this piece together and this piece together. Okay, okay, these are little elements here that I can see why people would like them.
Okay,
but
okay,
and I'm giving it the long lead of I expect this is not their best work.
Sure, yeah. I suppose having read what we've read,
sure,
we're prepped for that. Okay.
Also from the long lead of it's just not Cliff Richard.
Mate, we have spoiled ourselves. Soiled ourselves.
I mean, I've spoiled myself twice since we've been in the room. All right, so let's crack on now to the next track.
Right, track number 4, which is called Spooky. and was the fourth single, in fact, in December of 1993.
A spooky mini mix.
Yeah, weird. But yes, this was the fourth single, got to number 22. Whoa.
So we're in a kind of...
What's happening here?
Industrial house techno stomp.
Got a big squelchy bass line.
Yeah,
What's happened there?
Are we in the rave in the Matrix?
Whoa, come
Rain
on.
dance. What?
Yeah.
All those that are about to move forward. Let's have ya.
Yeah.
So here we come in, more kind of trademarky synths,
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
So now, the vocals as they come in, I would say are New Order by numbers.
Oh, very much.
Here we go.
Here you go. It's exactly what... I mean, this is... I have a note. I think this is the exact same vocal melody as the one in Regret, basically. And many others. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. Someone's got a little... Bernard can just sing something over this, and he's got the same thing.
So, again, look, this one drifts along.
Yeah.
Again, there's a breakdown in it, which is quite nice.
Bit fun, yeah.
But ultimately uninspiring.
I enjoy this more than the other one so far, because that intro immediately made me interested. It's like, oh, what is this? This is bizarre.
But have you... Obviously, this is not generally regarded amongst New Order fans as the definitive version of this track.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Okay.
No. So basically, when this was released, it was released with a number of remixes on it.
Right.
Now, the remix that I think is on the video and was the main chart mix when it's released is by Fluke.
Oh, okay.
Which it's on Spotify.
Yeah.
And it's much better.
Oh, I see.
It's
interesting.
much better.
Okay.
I mean, when they released their Greatest Hits album, there was a furore, the original Greatest Hits album, that this was the version included. And then I think a 1997 reissue of it fixed it, and people were...
Oh, see, okay.
I don't think it's generally considered a pantheon of one of their greatest hits, but when you're doing a definitive hits compilation, the other... I mean, feel free to put the version on if you want. We can hear it. It's quite different, and I think it's much better.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's a very Fluke kind of effect, I would say.
Yeah. Because I must admit, it was kind of until the vocals came in on that original version that I was like, oh, I like this. But then it took it right back down into just standard New Order whenever he started singing.
Oh, and you have to wait. You have to wait a lot longer for the vocals to come in on this version. But it just kind of drifts along.
7 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a long version.
Okay, I'm going to skip to vocals. I'm going to skip again. Jesus Christ. There's no vocals.
There are vocals.
I'm now 6/7 of the way through, I reckon.
I think you've skipped over some of the vocals. Okay. But yeah,
that's nice. But it's a very different song.
It's a very different track. It's more of a dance.
Yeah.
Kind of a dance, kind of chill out.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's chill out or a dance track really, but it's
like laid back dance.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's just as a track a lot more successful to me in general. But it is what it is. As I say, I think the album version is it's okay. It's another somewhat washed out, less than adequate.
I see. No, I enjoyed that one, the album version, more than the others so far.
Okay.
I like the strings in it. There's that weird climbing bass line, let's keep going, and there's a big relentless breakbeat going all the way through it. Only really let down by Sumner's vocals on that one for me.
Yeah, but that to me
which is a big thing.
That is the big thing. That kind of just takes me out of the room completely.
Mate, and again, the lyrics he's come up with on this one: we could break every rule anytime we wanted to. Don't be afraid to live this way. Let's defend the things we say. It's like,
I don't think he is on the whole, a bad lyricist. I think he's
Right.
got. I think that there are some moments, and nothing that's come up so far, but there are some moments that I've noted down. He's got some really nice evocative stuff, and he is capable of creating quite a nice image and making some quite nice word choices. But he is also very capable of falling back on his laurels and doing this very kind of Dr. Zeus sing-songy kind of hat, mat, cat. Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So let's take a break from there. Let's have a listen to the album.
Okay. Right, so albums-wise, we're looking at the week of May 9th to 15th of 1993. There's a few new ones in here. I'm not going to say that they're good or not, but number 10, we've got Kenny G and Breathless.
Wow.
Which is, I would imagine, the worst thing you could be for a saxophonist.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Kenny G, ruined by asthma.
Yep. Also, number 9, Dina Carroll, So Close, which we've seen and talked about that was nominated for Mercury. Number 8, straight down to number 8 from last week is Cliff Richard, the album. Number 7, Duran Duran Wedding Album, still in top 10.
And I presume the reason that Cliff Richard fell so many places is because in that week half of his fan base died of just old age.
Absolutely. Number 6, World Party with Bang, which we saw the single a couple of weeks back.
I'm quite surprised that World Party had a top 10 album.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time we've seen it, so number 6 for a new entry. I imagine that fell right back down as well. Number 5, though, a new entry for Clannad. And
Fuck me.
Bamba. Never heard of it, but I can imagine exactly what it sounds like.
I know exactly what that sounds like.
Yep. Number 4, Terence Trent D'Arby's Symphony or Damn is a new entry. And I'm guessing that's the one that probably has Delicate on it, 1993, with the Desiree. With Delicate, which I think is a wonderful song.
I mean, I can't even think of that song for a second.
Man, I'm not going to sing it because that would be ruining a good song. Delicate like you and me.
Oh no, that gives me nothing.
No.
Apart from an erection.
Nice one. Number 3, Sting, 10 Summoners Tales. Number 2, REM Automatic for the People. And then
I've just realised, do you think that's a play on 10 Summoners Tales?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Oh, right, yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Is it suddenly now, I want that album?
No, it's quite the opposite. It's like, I mean, I genuinely didn't think I could think Sting was more of a wanker than I did. I never thought of that. Summoners
Tales, yeah.
Oh, fuck off, Sting.
Mate, there you go. Gosh. And it's...
I might have to stop recording this. That's really.
Go for a lie down.
I don't feel good about life.
No. Other albums, though, we've got a 2-week period because, like I said, REM went back to number 1. And so between May 9th and 22nd, we got releases by...
So I'm just laughing at 2-week period.
Oh, dear me.
What's wrong with me?
Good grief. He's a professional comedian, ladies and gentlemen.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
Oh, lovely. Run DMC released Down with the King, which got to number 44, and I never had the album because...
Because it wouldn't be very good.
No, exactly. I loved the single.
I went to John Jay University.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the single, but there's just something about it, that 15 other tracks wouldn't be what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even really love Down with the King.
Oh, I did.
Who was that a Rick Rubin production?
I couldn't tell you. Not sure.
I bet you it is.
In 93? It might well be, Might well be. Trashcan Sinatra's released I've Seen Everything, which was a kind of a very cool indie one. Eat Static released Abduction and got to number 62. Mm-hmm. Eat Static was one of those ones that I never was into. But
well, no, I mean, aren't Eat Static and Ozric Tentacles?
Yeah.
And we saw a top 10 album from the Ozric Tentacles.
A couple of weeks back, yeah.
And just to renew my point, that they release something every fucking 3 weeks.
I know. Brad released Shame, which got to number 72. Do you remember Brad coming out?
I don't remember Brad coming out, but I do remember having the album.
Okay, right.
I remember. Well, no, I never had the album, but a load of people did because it's is it Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard? I'm
not sure. I remember it being people who you're like, oh, cool. But I never even had it. I've never heard it.
I can't remember if it was any good. I suspect there's a good song on it. Just to go back, Down with the King was, of course, I should have remembered this because he was on the rap on it. It was Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Oh, cool. Right. Pete Rock is on all over that, yes. Right. Terrorvision released Formaldehyde, which got to number 75 in 1993.
I bought that album. I bought that album because of one of those things where I was reading about it and in Kerrang, and it sounded like they made it sound like a very different band, and I bought it, and I went, oh no, I don't like this at all.
Oh, I see.
I was
right.
one of those few records, because back in the day, like you'd buy a record and you'd, by dearth of the fact that you'd spent money on it, you would listen to it until you liked it a lot of the time.
You tried to like
and
it.
I tried to get into that album, and I just never liked it. It was absolutely like Terrorvision would become a fun pop rock singles band down the line, right? Never really my brand. Never. It was always a little bit light for me.
Fine,
but
this wasn't even that.
Didn't even find that in.
Right.
In this,
I don't think I've ever heard Formaldehyde.
I think I've still got it. I mean, I couldn't tell you what's on it.
Fair enough. Morrissey released Beethoven Was Deaf. I got number 13. Blur released Modern Life is Rubbish, which we kind of briefly talked about last week because we saw the For Tomorrow single.
Sure.
And it was the one that was their breakaway from the baggy scene that Leisure had been all about. And for that reason, I took against it because I fucking loved Leisure. I loved that baggy sound that they did. And so whenever I heard Pop Scene and then For Tomorrow, it's like, actually, okay.
Well, it'd be almost impossible to level the criticism at being a fucking cultural magpie at Damon Albarn, would you?
Well.
Wouldn't it? And, again, I say that fully with the self-awareness that two of my favourite artists, David Bowie and Madonna, made their entire career on exactly that.
Right, sure.
But there is something about the way that Albarn and his art school aesthetic deliver it that has always rubbed me up the wrong way.
Well, it never got to number one, so we don't have to actually listen to it and talk about it in full because that would be expletive deleted all the way through.
Well, I mean, I think every other album they released in the 90s did.
So we're going to have to do Park Life, which is immeasurably worse.
I don't know.
We'll take that when it comes to
we'll
it.
See.
Front 242 released an album called 06/21/03/11 Up Evil.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing they would do, isn't it?
What? Fine. Yeah. Mega City 4 released Magic Bullets, and they were one of those indie bands that I never even really heard at the time. It was them and Senseless Things I grouped together as couldn't be arsed.
Just bands that Simon likes.
Exactly. And I was fine. I gave time to Ned's Stomach Dustbin and Wonder Stuff and Populate Itself. But those two, for some reason, I was like, all right, nah.
I've got to say, they did always seem a bit like, okay, so we can't get any of the big guys in, so
Will this do?
It's a bit second division, isn't it? Really,
that's what I
feel like if indie music was a sticker book,
yes,
then like Senseless Things, there'd be two members of each on each sticker.
Oh, I see.
You know, the Scottish League at the back of the of your Panini football sticker.
Lovely. Debut album by Rancid came out, just called Rancid.
Rancid, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all, but I was never a big fan of that scene, but I didn't realise Rancid were going in 93.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those records, because when's Offspring hit? Offspring hits about 94,
we've already seen Offspring have their first album.
Yeah, that's Ignition.
But Smash came out 94, I think.
Yeah, so we'd like 94, 95. That's when those bands hit. But everything that kind of ended up being that Epitaph stable had already been putting things out. I mean, like, don't forget, like, that South Coast ska punk scene is big at the minute. If that's the thing you're into, you're probably considering this part of the golden age of it because it's before everybody else got into it.
Yeah, before it's sold out.
Yeah, exactly.
In Europe. Yeah,
and straight up, I'm a big Rancid fan. Of all of those bands, I think Rancid and Sublime are my two bands of that.
You'd take those ones away from the rest.
Yeah, and I've not kept up with Rancid over the years, to be honest with you, but I think Out Come the Wolves and Life Won't Wait are pretty much perfect records. Yeah. And Let's Go, I really like Rancid. I really like they've got moments on them, but I think those two moments, they really kind of just captured a moment in time. And
gotcha.
Absolutely furious live band as well. Brilliant live band.
All right. And the other debut album that I've got a note of here is The Roots released Organics. Which I don't think I've heard.
I don't think I have either.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard Organics.
And so 93 is a long way back for me in terms of Roots. I didn't realise that they were putting stuff out at that point. I thought they were kind of 95, 96 and onwards.
I mean, you could almost say it's the roots of the Roots.
And that was the end of the podcast. Fucking hell.
Sorry, mate. I'm still laughing at my own joke. So it's a bit of a jazz cafe joke. Carry on.
Do you want me to snap my fingers instead of clap for that
But funnily enough, though, obviously you had the Roots, and the connection to Rancid would be Roots Radical.
Oh,
but on the roots, the roots are radical.
There you go. So that's your albums. There's no classics in there, I wouldn't say, but at least there's some decent shit.
Again, but when we talk about kind of seeds coming, very much Rancid, and that.
Sure, yeah.
I think people forget a little bit that once grunge blew its initial wad, that's when all of that kind of pop punk started to happen. And
record companies were just going, here's the next big American rock band. Cool. Not hair rock, but anything else, alternative band. And so, they blew up in that way.
But it is weird to think that there was a time before pop punk records, because they have stayed around ever since, to a certain degree.
They've ebbed and flowed, but this was always been the lingering smell. Yes. All right. I'm not a fan of the genre in general.
Yeah, but
there's some classic singles.
You could pick a load of singles.
Oh, mate, give me exactly a 14-track. That's what I call ska punk for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely fine. All right, but let's get back into New Order. All right, so let's go back in. Track number 5 on New Order is Everyone Everywhere.
Everyone Everywhere. That's, that's the demographic I use when I'm advertising my comic.
Sure, yeah. That intro reminds me of just that very first bit of Paul Young's Living in the Love of the Common People.
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
Nice.
It feels a little bit like wedding album era Duran Duran, which is a reference point we hit a few times recently.
Sure, we've just seen that in the top 10.
I'm just being very lazy with my reference points.
Just mentioning something that we heard 3 minutes back.
This is unusual for me because this is where I get into that point where this stuff is all much of a muchness, but because this track doesn't do much.
Yeah.
But what it does do is it creates this nice kind of trancey ambience, and the vocal feels quite hypnotic now. And I'm not really sure why, but I do really like this one.
This is definitely my favourite so far. I think this is a good song.
Okay, and we get to 3 minute 30, and there's a really lovely guitar lick.
Ooh,
3 minutes 13,
right.
Should I say?
Let me skip to that 1 second.
That's a nice lick.
Well, this to me reminds me, and it maybe I am drawing conclusions from something that isn't there, but obviously by this point, Bernard Sumner had done the whole electronic album with Johnny Marr.
Yeah.
And so that guitar reminds me of a Smiths-esque guitar sound, more than a New Order one. I really like that as well.
Yeah, lyrics kind of speak of love in a time of attrition almost. This is definitely my favourite one on the track so far.
Right, sure.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
No, I do. I think this is a really nice feel to it. I think the chorus works better than all the other ones. I do think there are some bits of his singing that don't work for me, but in general it works because the more monotone thing is okay over the top of what we're hearing in the background. It's okay. And I can only imagine, since 1989, since the release of their previous album, you have had the whole Manchester scene thing blow up. So you've had the Stone Roses become world famous. You've had the baggy thing coming through and take over the charts. And Manchester is seen as this up. So I see this as them being influenced by a lot of their peers from that time. Obviously, the only thing is that time has now passed. It's not the peak of Manchester anymore. We're into grunge or whatever. But I think this is a really nice version of that type of thing. Yeah,
I didn't even necessarily put those two things together, and I can see it as you said it. I don't think it's necessarily an overt comparison that it's.
Yeah, maybe it is me just looking for stuff that isn't there, but I
think certainly I think I'm certainly with you on that Johnny Marr guitar part. I think that is a very, very good Johnny Marr guitar part. But yeah, I like this one. Not a single.
No. Well, we've
more
had
singly than the other singles.
We've had 4 songs in the or 4 singles in the first 4 songs, and that's it. Everything else is not a single.
Yeah, and
so I don't think that's good tracking for an album. I don't think you should do that. Have your first 4 singles, the first 4, and then you're done. But no, this one this is better than Ruined in a Day, which is the other kind of slow one, but was the second single. And so, yeah, this would have been all right. I reckon they could have made a good video on this. But no, I don't get it. But yeah, no, I like that one.
Cool, I like that one too. That's a 2 for 2. I feel like we're 5-5. I can't be arsed.
No.
Right, Young Offender is the next track.
Right.
Young Offender? Okay, so we're very housey straight away.
Yes, a bit more kind of Ibiza piano coming in.
I like that drum sound, like a snare.
Oh, yeah? There it is. Fuck me.
I mean, that really is like an upfront kind of Ibiza.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I don't mind it.
Really? I see.
It feels quite strident here.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks to me of a band going, don't worry, we'll get Oakenfold in at some point and he'll do something with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if we're not sure where it's going in this version, it'll be fine down the line.
But I do like this lyric here, though, where he's like, if I keep my distance in this one here, in this season of slender hell, it's because of the need to live off each one another. Go home, young offender, and stay undercover. I like that. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
It's a nice evocative kind of almost this picture forming. It's just nice use of words.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'm getting into the vibe now. I don't think I am, but I'm enjoying this one as well. I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's as good as the last track, but I think this one as a piece works quite well.
Right, I think this is rubbish. I didn't get on with this one at all.
Okay, fair enough.
This to me sounds like a demo of a band who thought, that we've got something here, but let's take some guitar and some dance styles. Let's mash it all together, but. They didn't know what they were doing. I don't agree with it. I think like just literally as you were speaking there, that piece where the guitar's playing off against the dance synths.
Yeah. I think that it does sit very nicely.
Oh, right. So that doesn't work for me. I don't mind this bit of the tune, the chorusy thing, but overall, I don't like the whole sound of the song. It feels clunky to me. In terms of the lyrics, I'm assuming because it's called Young Offender.
Yeah.
And it talks about troubled youth, and it's pictures of an image of a person who could not be blamed. You are a colour and you are a number. So I'm assuming it actually is about young offender kind of scenarios and the youth. But then there's another line straight after that, because whatever it takes, I will make you mine. What's going on? I don't understand the context.
See, I mean, for me, I read through it and I didn't find a literal meaning in it, so I presumed it was metaphorical for something.
Right.
And again, I came away from it going, I'm not 100% where you're at with this, but there's some nice imagery within certain lyrics that kind of conjure some nice pictures. And
I see. Okay.
And if that's what, I mean, if you're looking for a very strong, definite definition on this, and if that's what he was going for, then I don't think he's succeeded.
Well, I wasn't sure because you might be right. It is more allegorical. I also didn't get what he was trying to say.
Allegorical,
yeah, from last week. I didn't like this. Something about it rubbed me up the wrong way. It's not the worst one we've heard so far. I've liked other ones less, but this one I didn't get. You're
having a bad run these last few weeks, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'm just looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up as well.
Is everything all right at home?
Maybe I just need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I got nothing else really to say about that one. You got any more on that?
No, nothing else on that.
Fine. Track number 7 then.
This is a liar. Not to be confused with the Rollins Band song of the same name.
I'm a liar. No, it's not that one.
Great song. Bat Dance.
Ooh, good call. Yes, that is exactly what that is. But then this is Gypsy Woman by Crystal Waters.
Yeah.
And fuck that song.
I had this experience with that. Pause this a second. Right?
Oh, right, yeah.
I had that the other day when, everyone was going on about, it was like, it's Six Music Day. They're playing all these amazing songs.
Oh, then it was 1991 Day or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
They're playing all these amazing songs. I looked at all the list of everyone was playing, right? And I was just busy in the morning, but I had to get in my car and drive to the eye hospital.
Yeah, that's like the Apple Hospital for anyone else.
Yeah, thank you. Fuck off. And I got in my car and literally, I can't remember what the guy's name is. Is it Jack Hawkins or something like that?
Oh, Chris Hawkins.
Uh-huh. And what the fuck planet was he on? Because the first track he played was Gypsy Woman,
Jesus Christ.
Crystal Waters, and then he just played about C&C Music Factory, which I don't mind,
right.
but it's got no place at all on BBC Six Music.
Well, especially whenever we had been, because we, like on a WhatsApp chat group, we'd be going, oh, fucking hell, they just played Sonic Youth, or they just played this really cool stuff. You're like, oh, I forgot this existed, or even like Aphex or something like that, and then you tune in.
Playing this, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, what have I tuned into? The Mr. Buy-Right playlist.
It's Steve Wright's, years gone by shit.
Anyway. All right, so anyway, let's get back to Liar.
But yeah, that sound, that keyboard sound is horrible. And then...
But this is that sing-song vocal.
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same cadence and everything that he's done before.
So the track itself is a lot sparser. Whatever that keyboard sound is, I don't really like it.
It should be banned. It should have been discontinued.
Yeah. This is an absolute plodder.
Yeah.
I don't hate the chorus.
Oh, really?
But it's far, far, far from enough
those female backing vocalists doing the... I'll do it and on through it. Horrible for me.
It is what it is. I don't like this one.
No.
And it's just come after 2 tracks where I'm like, oh, am I getting a feel for this? And it's like, oh no, this reminds me. No, this is. It just feels like lazy songwriting.
Sure, I do wonder, because obviously the track's called Liar, and if you read through the lyrics, it is a very barbed song directed at somebody.
Yeah. And
I do wonder, the one that fits most for me is probably Tony Wilson.
Oh, maybe.
I wonder if it's at him, because he was. The guy who ran Factory and the co-owner of Hacienda, both of which are in financial trouble. And New Order are having to record this album to make money and bail both those things out. And so are they going, fuck's sake, Tony?
I mean, absolutely, possibly. I mean, with the limited information that we have, that could be a thing. I mean,
sure.
The missing information, of course, is everyone else that he's ever met.
Oh, very true.
But,
yeah.
So, I can certainly
exactly, because it's about someone who was once a friend but isn't anymore. It can't be trusted. There's a lot of trust issues going on in this song. So if they are just pissed off that they're having to do this fucking album rescue, everything rests on them.
But aren't I right in saying that this album doesn't actually come out on Factory?
No, because Factory, but when they were recording it, Factory was still open. Yeah. But by the time it got released in '93, Factory had gone bust.
Yeah.
And so it got released on London Records.
Yeah.
But basically, London bought Factory. So they bought all the bits and bobs that went with Factory, and so it came out on that in the UK. It was different in, I think, Warner's in the States. But you're right that it didn't save Factory. So what was the fucking point?
This is less Factory and more olfactory, and it smells bad.
And this is the thing, I think it was 92. I think it was 92 that. The big thing with the Happy Mondays going off to record Yes Please in Barbados, I'm going to say. I think that was 92 when they lost all of Factory's money.
Yeah.
Because they spent it all on crack.
Yeah.
And Sean Ryder, no, was it Sean Ryder or Bez, flipped a go-kart or a little buggy, broke his arm, and had to postpone the recording but stay on Barbados and do more crack while he healed. And then no one gave a shit about the album. It came out and it was awful, and nobody bought it.
It's really weird, isn't it? If you record an album on crack, it's not always that good.
Who knew?
I mean, if you ever listen to Saturn's Return by Goldie, the record that Cocaine made.
Oh, I see. Right. Oh God, no. But no, this is a really middle of the road. This is, if People decided to get a bit more dull for me. This is where this would sit.
This is not good, man.
This should have been shelved, this song. I don't understand why it was put onto an album. No. Awful. Probably, I'd say this is possibly my least favourite one so far. It's like a joke, this one.
I mean, I find it very difficult to have any level of feeling about it one way or the other.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because it's basically a non-entity.
I see.
Okay, so track 8. Let's move on to that one. What I will say about this album, though, is a classic 45, one side of a 45.
Oh, it's great like that.
Yeah.
And there's no song over 5 minutes as well.
No, that is. Yeah. I mean, literally 5 stars for that criteria.
Exactly. Yeah, by that alone.
I am fully aware of the irony of me saying that, and then also saying my favourite band is Tool.
Well, quite, yes. But whenever it's something that you don't really want to have to listen to much of,
exactly.
It's great.
Exactly.
All right, here we go. Track number 8 is Chemical.
Okay, so we've got a big aggressive beat.
We do.
Almost Chemical Brothers-y in a weird way.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
synths.
I like the big pounding beat. It's good.
Yeah. Heavy, squelchy bass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. I quite like.
Mellowing.
Yeah, mellow. I've described this one as a muted banger.
Oh, yeah, all right. And there are some big, like, proper rave stabs in here later on as well. It goes full on Euro rave. Again,
the vocal is a bit like limp in it for this.
It's another one where I go, this is the same vocal as every other song that sounds like this. It's like it's just him doing that same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, a better vocal could have elevated this song.
Yeah, okay.
As it stands, it doesn't ruin it. I don't love this song,
right?
But I think it's fine. It's a 6.
I would say right now I'd put this as like 2 or 3. I think this is really bland.
Oh, I see. No, I like it more than that. I think this is fine. But yeah, no, not. You know, it's on the right side of average for me.
Okay, all right. I wondered again if this was another one that was a dig at Tony Wilson, for example. It seems to be accusing someone of doing a load of drugs and letting your business go to shit. You know, letting down a load of people who rely on you.
Well, I think they were all pretty fucked on drugs at this point. Anyway,
yeah, I think there was something I read where it was like every one of them was just on something different.
Yeah. What a recipe for unity.
I know, my God. But whatever cocktail they were on, I don't understand what sort of drugs it is that makes you make this sort of record. Because so much of this is dull and not exciting or interesting. I would have thought that surely just try some new shit if you're on a massive amount of drugs.
The truth of the matter is, though, drugs are only good if you're doing them.
Yeah.
If you're talking, if you're trying to make music with 4 other people that are on different drugs, then the likelihood is what you're going to end up with is some kind of dull compromise.
Yeah, I suppose.
Unless one of you is on the fucking great drugs that push you through everything.
Right.
You know, as in, kind of top form monster magnet.
Yeah, true. Imagine having to be the producer in this album, having to deal with the 4 people. 4 people who didn't much like each other and had all just recently done side projects and were therefore not willing really to listen to anybody else on ideas because they've suddenly got used to doing exactly what they want and having to be the guy in the middle going, oh, no, please, no, okay, let's just try and get the drum pattern down. Mm-hmm. We can talk about whatever else you're talking about later.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a band. A record made by a band that are all pointing in the same direction, for sure.
Nah.
Okay, so I don't have much else to add to that, really. Muted banger, as I say. That's my review. Singles.
Right, okay, let's do the singles this week. Number 10 in the week of May 19th to the 15th is Snow with Informer. I've seen that many times. Number 9 is Subs, Ain't No Love, Ain't No Use. Number 8 is one that I thought, this is easily recognisable, and it turns out maybe it's not. You'll remember, I'm sure, but also I'll skip through a bit because there's a massively long intro on this. Do you remember what this is, though? Because I was like, I'll know this. And I listened to it and went, I absolutely remember the song, but I don't know if I'd put 2 and 2 together.
I mean, my brain's saying Utah Saints.
Your brain's right.
Is it really?
It is absolutely right. It's Utah Saints. I mean, do you remember the title of this one?
No.
Believe in Me.
I believe in me.
Yeah.
I believe in you and I believe in me and I believe in love.
That's the one. Yeah. It's a good tune, this is.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. So that's at number 8. Then we've got... Number 7 is the Utah Saints with Everybody Hurts. Number 6, Whitney Houston.
The Utah Saints with Everybody Hurts.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, REM, Everybody Hurts.
Leave that in. Don't edit that out.
That's fine. Number 6 is Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing.
Yeah.
Number 5, and Jesus Christ, I hate this song, but I remember this being a big hit.
I've been watching you.
Oh my God. Long.
Yeah.
Jano. Yeah, man.
No.
Long.
Yeah. Do you remember who did this at all?
I Want to Make You Sweat. And it is by... I do know who this is by.
I mean, let's just say I Want to Make You Sweat is not a good lyric.
I Want to Make You Sweat, and it's something. It's dun dun dun. I think.
It's da-da-da-da.
No, go tell me who it is.
It's Inner Circle.
Inner Circle.
Right,
Okay.
Sweat the
No,
la song.
I wasn't going to get Inner Circle.
Right, fine. I remember fucking hating that song so much at the time. Just awful.
I mean, I don't know if I hated it because it had the looking in your big brown eye joke.
It certainly does.
Which
You're
always,
absolutely right.
You know, always made me laugh. And I'm not going to lie, 45 still does.
Yeah, sure. So that's number 5. Number 4, and it's probably going to be obvious who this is as soon as it comes in.
And the Muppets.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Stingray. Yes, Too Unlimited.
It is, of course it is. It's Too Unlimited, and it's Tribal Dance.
Tribal Dance.
Yeah. But yes, we're going to have to do an entire album of this, so let's not say too much more.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm on holiday.
You fucking aren't, mate. You're doing it with me. That's number 4. Number 3, and we'll be doing this album at some point as well.
Like a moth to a flame burned by the fire.
I know what this is.
Blind, can't you see my desire?
Oh, this is Eldorado Love Girl, Janet Jackson, yeah.
Janet Jackson, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, no, and this is the next one we've got to do. Janet Jackson is the next album coming up on our list, so this is next one. And Too Unlimited is after that. So there's a juxtaposition for you. So yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, and this is the first time we've seen this one, and this is stone cold 90s classic on every, 90s compilation in the world ever.
Yeah, Bass. All She Wants.
All That She Wants. I really liked this when it came out. I bought the 7 of this.
I don't think I did.
No, I did. But that's a terrible keyboard noise.
Yeah, that's a really...
Do-do-do-do.
How can we make... Is it a saxophone or a clarinet? I don't know.
Quite. But I did. I really enjoyed that. And it's at number 2. And then number 1 is still from last time, the George Michael and Queen, the 5 Live EP that we saw. In the other stuff, there's a few bits. I mean, there's one I don't even know why I put it on my list, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
Oh, good.
There's very few that I'm going to be able to play you, is the thing. Or there's any point, because the first one I've noticed is Kingmaker, 10 Years Asleep, which you wouldn't have got anyway. I liked Kingmaker at the time, but they were very much an also-ran band, and I think they kind of knew it by this point. It was like, all right, they'd been going for a couple of years to no real success. They were kind of the butt of the joke a lot of the time. So, oh, well, could be worse. You could be in Kingmaker.
But I mean, Kingmaker is almost like, it's the guy behind the guy, isn't it?
True, yeah.
It's in the title.
That's very true. Number 14, got to number 14, Depeche Mode's Walking in My Shoes, which obviously we saw when we did the full album on that one.
Also, one of the funniest song titles, if you want to do that game where you change one letter.
Oh. Yes, it is. Oh, what a lovely image.
There we go.
Dodgy released Lovebirds, only got to number 65.
Geez, fucking Dodgy.
But this is like the first kind of time I've seen Dodgy in any of these charts.
Christ, Dodgy, what was going on?
Oh, see, I liked a couple of Dodgy singles.
Did you?
I honestly did, yeah.
Like, Dodgy to me are like, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's other, but like an antonym for everything that was, it's just a short way of putting everything that was wrong with the music that people specifically in England would buy and the rest of the world wouldn't.
I say no.
I mean, it was dog shit. It was like that kind of proto Britpop that got allowed to be like a much bigger band than they ever should have been allowed to be. Do you know what I mean? They
were in the right place at the right time for some of it, definitely. But I think Staying Out for Summer is a good tune. I do. And Good Enough was fun.
See, I mean, they're not songs that hit the right buttons for me.
Oh, no, not your thing whatsoever. This one that I seem to have put it in the list, and I suspect it's only because I can go, and this was happening as well. Pat and Mick released Hot, Hot, Hot. That got to number 47. I've no idea why I've made mention of that.
I mean, I don't either. Is this
Pat Sharp was, on a roll.
Wasn't Let's All Chant like 1987 as well?
Yeah, no. Apparently they released charity singles every year for like 6 years. I think the first one was 87. This was the last because the world sort of wised up a bit. But yeah, Pat and Mick was still happening. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, Pat and Mick is also. Well, I think you make the joke about it was like an Irish version of Faith No More. Or something like Radiohead released Pop Is Dead, which got to number 42, and it was a single in between Pablo Honey and the Bends, and it's not on Spotify, so I can't play a bit of that.
I don't know if I've ever heard it.
I went and listened to it on YouTube whenever I saw it in here, and I was like, I don't know if I have, but it rang vague bells. Okay. And I remember it coming out. I remember the Poppy's Dead, the imagery of the ads or something like that. But this was also still before I really gave a shit about Radiohead, because it was pre-Bends, and I wasn't into Pablo Honey, so I dismissed it, didn't care. I did watch the video for it, like I say, and Tom York, it's the sort of thing that they would stop doing very soon after this, because they finally got the balls to say to someone, I'm not going to do that, because it's him being carried around in like a plastic coffin in weird makeup, singing directly into camera in this bizarre fashion, looking like a strange guy. And he would at some point just go, this is not what I want for Radiohead anymore.
I mean, like, Tom York just looks like I don't know, like what a Muppet would look like if you stripped the felt off of them.
Oh God.
You know, like that thing where they made real versions of Simpsons characters.
Oh right, yeah,
that horrific thing.
And Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead ones. But I feel like if you do the Muppets, you're going to end up with Tom York.
Oh, nice, okay. This one only got to number 57, but careful now.
Come on, credit to the nation.
It certainly is.
Call it what you want.
Exactly. I loved this when it came out.
What I loved most about it was the flood of people to the dance floor, and then and then other people coming back to the dance floor.
Yeah. It is very hard to go wrong when you're taking Smells Like Teen Spirit and Welcome to the Terrordome.
Yeah.
And putting the two together.
Cool.
But it's one of these. I bet you've not heard this in 20 years, and you could probably do most of the lyrics. It's really weird. Like a record deck.
I bought multiple Credit to the Nation singles.
Oh, because of this?
Never bought the album.
No.
But See No Bullshit, Hear No Bullshit.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That, somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and he did that god-awful link-up with Chumbawamba. Tiki Tiki Time Bomb.
Jeez.
Fuck me, that's bad. But that, no, I very much enjoyed that. I think I still got the 12-inch.
Chumbawamba? Bad song.
What?
Oh, do.
And the only other one I've got is Verve, when they were still just called Verve, released Blue. Got to number 69.
Nice. Which is a good number for
exactly.
a Blue song.
Well done all round. But yeah, there's a couple in there. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Fair enough.
I've seen better, seen worse. But let's do the last bits of New Order then, yeah?
Okay. Have you mainly taken against this album because it's called Republic and you're from Northern Ireland?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Number 9 is called Times Change.
Okay, so this is another one of the slow, melancholic ones.
Yeah.
As I say, the last one was quite on brand for me. This one just fails to connect with me at all.
Yep.
I think it's. I mean, that's bad.
Terrible.
That's really bad.
Shocking.
And it's the wrong side of atmospheric, this song, for me. I mean, that is bad, isn't it? If you're building something...
Oh, this is horrendous.
What that's like is when you don't have the files on the bank, and so it just plays the default MIDI sound.
But they've deliberately gone with this choice. Terrible. And he's like rapping as well.
Yeah, he said who he sounds like. He sounds like Pet Shop Boys.
That's exactly what I've said. This sounds like... I get what he's doing if he's trying to do that deadpan Neil Tennant delivery. Yeah. But this sounds to me like if the Mary Whitehouse Experience were trying to do a Pet Shop Boys piss take.
Yeah.
This is what they would come up with.
I mean, the song that this sounds most like to me is, if I recall, it was a horror film.
Lonely Island.
Jizz on my pants.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is awful. And again, I've written that if this had been on the E17 album with them trying to do a serious track, I'd go, all right, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know any better.
I mean, this is actually quite a Tony Mortimer chorus.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is no good. Let's not wait.
Awful.
Let's just no longer... I was about to say dally for the second time.
Mate, you're
why is that in my fucking...
You're going to start saying hey nonny nonny as well.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so forsooth.
Right, number 10 then, yeah? It's called Special.
Okay. Quite like that. A little kind of weird glitch.
All right, yeah.
Ooh, that I like.
That's all right.
Minor Keys and Sadness, you say?
I do.
Hello.
This is the longest track on the album.
Yeah,
At nearly 5 minutes.
Yeah, again, this for me is just another example of what separates a good and a bad song for me is very thin on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But, I like this one a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, variation in, it's the most emotive vocal on the record.
Oh, wow.
He really goes some places on this one that he doesn't often go, and I just think there's a really kind of like beautiful sadness that hangs around this song.
Wow.
So I really like this one.
Oh, I thought this was dreary as hell.
I really like this one.
This to me sounds like they were properly phoning it in. Like there's no level of interest from anyone in the band.
And listen to his vocal. It's got a bit of that kind of beloved.
Definitely that. Yeah. I don't know.
See, I think the chorus is really nice.
Oh, right. Yeah, again, the chorus is the best bit of it because there's a semblance of a tune.
No, I really, really like this one. I really like this one. Yeah.
Okay. This did not do it for me. It is entirely possible as well that on all my passes through, a lot of times it was background.
Yeah.
And I had this on a good few times, but it was background. And a lot of these songs lend themselves to just drifting out of your head.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But when I was sitting down to do my notes, this is track 10 of an album that I wasn't enjoying.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, God, another one of these. I didn't get any respite
listen,
from
he's actually emoting and inflecting in a way that he doesn't normally do.
Oh, see, I know that to me just sounds like another dreary Sumner vocal.
Like fucking changing pitch. I
Right,
think,
fair enough.
I think this is a really good song. This is in my top 3 of the songs on this record.
Oh, okay, all right, good. I'm glad. Have you got anything else on that one, or if you move on to the last song?
And I've really got nothing to say about the last song.
Well, the last song is the shortest song on the album, and it's also pretty much an instrumental.
It's just a dull instrumental with
Avalanche.
one repeated lyric.
Yes. Yeah, thankfully short. It's 3 minutes, and it is just... It happens, and it's there. There's no need for it to finish on this on the album. I don't know why it's on here, but at least it's only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
There's something in that.
Anyway.
No, this is crap.
Move on, fuck it. We don't care, right?
That's that. Fuck me.
Needless to say, this isn't a very good album.
I think this is a pretty bad album. I honestly do.
The interesting thing is, for me, this has got most in common with some of the bloated albums by faded stars that we've had. That's the thing that it reminds me most of. So, like that Fleetwood Mac album.
Sure, yeah.
Where it's a band that are past their best, going through the paces.
They've got the name.
Yeah, it doesn't mean at moments things don't lock into place and things. I do think of 11 tracks on here, there are 3 tracks that I enjoy.
Okay, sure.
There are no tracks that I'm leaping to put on playlists or to share, and there probably aren't 3 songs on here that I will probably revisit, to be honest with you. But being as fair as I possibly can, there are 3 songs on here that I like. And there will be at least one song that I revisit because it's going on that fucking playlist.
So needs must. Sure. All right. For me, I definitely agree with you saying it's a band past their peak, coasting on former glories, and maybe trying something different, but different isn't necessarily a good thing because this is going too far down the MOR route. They have lost the art of writing tunes on an awful lot of these songs, so there's nothing to really grab you. And the ones where it works, it's fine, but it's never, shit, yes, this is brilliant. There's not one that I'm like, fucking, okay, this is a great one on this album. I don't think there are any great songs on this album. There's a couple that are all right.
I don't think there are any great songs on this album at all.
No.
I mean, I think I know the answer to this already. Actually, I'll tell you what. Before we do the song, let's go to
the social
Twitter.
medias. Yeah, see what other people think.
Yeah, so we put this out on quite late in the day, but funnily enough, we've had quite a few responses.
Good stuff, right?
Straight in here, Pier Road Coffee and Art. My housemate played this twice a day in uni for 6 months. I know this album really well. Nowhere near as good as Technique. Bet it sounds dated now.
Right. Yeah, well,
certainly
that's
does
very
sound
true.
dated.
It does. There's so many of the sounds they're using that I think probably sound like they should have been left in more late 80s. And by the time this is coming out in 1993, are already past their prime. But that means that at this stage, you're definitely going, that sounds a bit kind of weird.
Yeah, sure, man. So anyway, Stephen Hill of Riot Act podcast.
Yes.
Big up Riot Act. Not even close to being their best album. Not even sure they really have one definitive best album. But if they do, this ain't it.
Right.
Saying that, Regret was one of my favourite indie bangers when it came out.
Oh, right, okay.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm too far past the point of entry, I think, for Regret.
To suddenly like it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I liked it more at the time. I don't know,
Right,
but
okay.
yeah, it's fine for me. Venetian Gambler, Andy B, bought them day one. Honestly, pretty naff. This is a very good point, actually. I think it's one of the best things we had. The point where once they'd previously defined the curve, now they were very much behind it.
Right. Yes, I would absolutely agree. There's nothing in this that is like raising the bar, is there?
No, I don't think so. At Ben Collins 01, first 4 tracks, the singles are all great, but after that you can see why those 4 tracks were picked as singles.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't think we were probably quite as into them.
No, I would swap some of those out. I would change some of those single choices had it been me.
Yeah. I mean, as is the case, though, it's obviously quite a different thing when you come back in at something like this far removed.
Of
so
course.
Who knows?
Of course.
Michael Collins, I really like it. Does it reach the height of their best work? No, but still full of gems. Mike, you are a generous man, and on this occasion,
he's too
generous.
nice. Too
Mate.
nice.
I think you're. I mean, I know you know your stuff too well to really undermine you, but on this case, mate, I think you've just been having too much of the nice pills. John Myers, the start of the decline after the career high of Technique. Singles are okay, catchy enough. It's all a bit bland pop. And Jesus Christ, Bernard's lyric, fuck's sake, Ruined in a Day is glorious though, downbeat and atmospheric. I agree with you.
Okay.
John, I very much liked Ruined in a Day. Bradders, outside of Regret, which I remember being omnipresent at every indie club, I could not have named any single song on this. I think this is where it became a hits-only band for me.
Totally fair. Yeah, no, I would agree that. For me, New Order probably were already by that point. I only wanted to hear the big hits I knew. And yeah, this would have cemented it if I had listened at the time.
Darren at Guts, formerly of this parish and former guest of this on the podcast, was probably my favourite comment on the Twitter. They went downhill after John Barnes left the band, in my opinion.
Absolutely brilliant.
There you go. Yeah.
Brilliant. Darren, well, yeah, absolutely fantastic.
You've got to hold me and do me at the same time. Jerry M.
Also, just on that point, in my readings around this, I didn't know that originally World in Motion, they had mooted that it was going to be called E is for England. Because Keith Allen co-wrote it with them. And so that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to be a little bit funny. And the chorus was going to be E is for England, England starts with an E.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I got shot down pretty quickly.
Yeah, in the end, that got everything starts with an
E.
Who was that? That was...
oh, God.
Easy Posse.
Easy Posse.
There you
yes.
go.
Lovely.
That's it. Okay, so at Jerry M43364.
Oh, just say Jerry M.
5. That's Jerry. Well, I'm just giving that Twitter fucking tag anyway. At Jerry M anyway, and a load of numbers. Not that keen on this album by the odd tune, but I think this is the point where this fan base changed quite a lot post World in Motion to a point where the gigs just had the constant sense of threat.
Oh, okay. Just a fucking load of lads in.
Yeah,
right.
We know that feeling. Yeah. John in Leeds. We're always a patchy band for me, apart from Power, Corruption and Lies. Wasn't interested in the 90s, though. Skip this entirely.
Fair. Well done.
And at Corky Fella, Mr. Corcoran, the most front-loaded record ever released.
Well, yeah, as we discussed, first 4 of 11 all singles. Strange choice.
Anyway, so all right, so we've done our little
sure. I think that's a general agreement there that everyone's saying this is not their best album.
Yeah, and normally
no one's standing up for it.
With a band like, and to be fair enough, we've only had this out for a day, but with a band like New Order, I would normally expect at least one outlier to come in all guns blazing. This is an undiscovered blah, blah,
Right,
blah,
sure.
blah. But no one is. And fairly good reason.
Again, whenever I was doing a little bit of reading and trying to find some reviews, even like either from the time or, whenever Pitchfork do their 20 years on sort of stuff, and no one that I could find was saying this has been much maligned and is actually a work of genius.
No.
Right, so playlist.
I mean, I don't think this is really that much of a stretch, is it? I think there was only one that we both liked.
Yeah, but the one we agreed on was track 5, wasn't it? Everyone Everywhere.
Yep.
So we'll do that. I think this is
that's a one-track album, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
Yeah. Much like Your Mind.
Yes, quite.
Anyway,
Quite.
guys, thank you as always for joining us this week. Please let us know whether you agree or disagree with our takes on social media. We'll be back next week with Janet Jackson.
Yes,
Janet.
Right. Janet.
When I say next week, you know what I mean.
Next time.
It's realistically. We're getting better. It's realistically around every 2 weeks.
It is, but I suspect this one won't be, I reckon, because I'm off to Belfast for a few days.
That's true. Chris is going on holiday. I'm going on holiday. I'm having another operation on my eye as well.
No.
So, who knows? It probably is going to be slightly longer than 2 weeks. I'm afraid
we'll see
till the
when
next
it
one.
happens.
But we'll see what we can.
All right, on that note then, we'll see you whenever we are back. Hope you're all well, and et cetera, et cetera.
See you later.
Bye. Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.